So before starting, I thought of giving an appreciation. I would like to appreciate the joint initiative of our CBA Partnership Department, which is headed by Professor Hadil Al-Jasser and Tadawul Chief Cooperative Marketing Officer, Ms. Hind Al-Asaf, for the inclusive approach of keeping the doors of learning open amidst this COVID-19, a challenging opportunity for industry and academia, a collaborative knowledge sharing for all available stakeholders, especially our students. So before starting this, I thought of giving a piece of advice to my students. It's like your education is not worthy if you don't use it for the needy. So over the presentation, you will get to know what is it that we are saying. We already are graduates, then we will move on to post-graduation. So our education is really useful, and we can find that we can use it for someone who are in need of it. So this presentation will give you an idea. So students, we wish students to be the change agents because the world is looking for you, not the teachers or the industrial experts like we have our financial institutions who are behind this, a Ministry of Finance, a Capital Market Authority, we have SAMA. So these not above that, we want students to be the change agents. So we lead to something called financial empowerment. When we look at KSA, KSA is doing a lot for the younger generation. We say women empowerment. Similarly, we say the younger generation, their empowerment. So what is it that students can give back to their country? So it is in the form of financial empowerment. Others are empowering you. So you have to show them how you can be financially empowered. It is after going through our PPT, you'll get to know what is it that we are looking at. We say we have to invest in ourselves. So what are the ways in which students can invest in themselves and they can bring the best version of themselves? So this was the topic which I selected, orientation towards savings and investment, special reference to KSA. So this is the content where we talk about, like we'll get an understanding about what is this national and household savings, why we are giving importance. Everyone is giving importance to household savings. Then we'll see what are the driving force, what motivates people. Why is it that we say we should go for household savings? What are the factors behind low savings rate? If we look at global level, all around the world, all the countries are after it. All of them, we say we should go for savings. But what are the factors behind why is it that savings are not happening? So I've taken General Authority of Statistics, their research analysis, their statistical report which has been analyzed. It is like General Authority of Statistics, they come up with a report every 5 years. So I got a report from 2007 to 2018 and an analysis of this is being presented here. So 2019, they have again started with. So after preparing my presentation, I had even shown it to Sama, Fsdp chief. She is Ms. Lama Al-Wahabi, and even her sister, they both participated just to find out when we are making a presentation, it should be useful to students and they should gain something out of it. It should not contain any information which is not correct or apt. So I've taken research studies from General Authority of Statistics, similarly King Khalid Foundation report, then KPMG analysis report, then we have global Findex data. So a lot of data I extracted and analyzed the facts related to KSA. And see if you look at the last one, what it says is role of millennials, the younger generation. Right? What is your role in contributing towards enhancing household savings rate? Let's find out how we can do it. So this one is a theory. It is an economic model which talks about savings and investment. What is the relationship between savings and investment? So if we, for students to understand, we always take a simple example. If we are starting from a house, so we want to increase savings in my house, like every month on a monthly basis, I want to see that savings are happening. So if there is increase in savings, what will happen is it will result in some kind of investments. So here when we see all around the world, or especially if we are taking the studies related to KSA, so we find that investments are not happening. The reason is we are not aware of what are the investment products, how long should I invest, what are the products where I have to invest. So that is not happening. So if there is increase in the savings, it alone will not help me financially independent. So if I have to be financially independent, it has to be invested somewhere. There we say that investment should be into income producing assets. That is, we have invested our money in an asset, and that asset will work for you. That will generate income for you. One example, if I say, see, when we talk about Tadawul, there are 189 companies listed in Tadawul. So if we are selecting companies which are yielding high dividend, dividend is high. So if you are investing in such kind of stocks, it will result in cash inflows. So this is what they talk about: increased savings, then it will lead to increased investments. When there is high investment, you can see cash will be generated. So that is higher capital stock. So when this happens, you can see the economy develops. So if in my house I'm taking savings is increasing, so they provide investments increasing, so capital stocks, and it comes to economic development. So here what we say is small but regular effort. If it is taken from our side, it will help us to come up with better financial future. Save money and the money will save you. Small. If I'm able to save 5 real at a time, after 1 month, you are slowly increasing it to 10 real, 15 reals. So it should be slow, but it has to be on a regular basis. Now we'll see the importance of household savings. So why is it that studies everywhere, they focus on household savings? So when we talk about the savings of a country, it includes both national savings. So this national saving of a country, it includes both private saving as well as public saving. Public savings is the savings done by government, from the government level. Private, it includes corporates. Companies are also saving. Then the first one is household savings. We think household saving is not important. We are not giving importance. But studies have shown that it is the most important element, because if I learn to save money, it starts from my home. So I am also going to be employed, or I'm already employed. So that will have an impact on corporate savings. Corporate savings, when added to private savings, then governmental savings. So all these show the national savings of a country. So let's take why they say it is important. The first element which we need to show is less dependence on external fundings. So if I have saved funds, if money is saved, I need not depend on external funding. I need not depend on, normally when we require money, we go for bank. Bank is a formal organization where you're getting money. Similarly, some go to friends, relatives, my interests. Those are informal sources. So if we depend more, less dependence on external funding. So you're depending less on external funding means you're not depending on loan for meeting your requirements. So what happens if I'm taking a loan? For example, if I've taken 50,000 real for construction of a house, it shows that I have got money at that particular instant, but I'm not able, over a period of time, I have to pay that money back. So that I'm not thinking about it. So it shows that every month, then I have to pay interest, because this money no one is giving me free of cost. So when I take a loan from a bank, if it is 50,000 real, you can see that over a period of 3 or 4 years, when you're paying back the money, you will be paying more than 50,000 real. So they say if we have a savings habit, so why is it that if you are going for savings, you need to depend on external funding? Then it stimulates economic growth. This will come into, as we had seen earlier in the model, increase in savings leads to investment, it leads to capital increase and the growth of an economy. Economy grows as a result of these things. Studies have also shown that savings are positively correlated with investments. Higher the savings, it has to be invested something. So these two are positively correlated. And the last one that we see, more dependence on. If we are less depending on external funding means we can depend more on internal fundings, that is out of your saved money. These two. investment has to be financed through savings. So what is the takeaway? What is my takeaway from this particular slide is we need to come up with a savings culture behavior wherein we are depending less on external funding and we are depending more on internal funding. In colleges, when we study principles of finance, there also we study that every company in capital structure decision, we see what is their combination of debt and equity. So we see that company makes a profit. So what is the profit after interest and tax? Then what is the amount? The company has two options. One is you give dividend to your shareholders, and other is the money that you retain. So I've studied in college, I study that company gives more importance to retained earnings. Similarly, if I try to apply that in my house also, you can see let's depend less on external funding and we depend more on the other internal funding. Now, savings culture is a purpose-driven strategy. So we are going to see the presentation why we say it's a purpose-driven strategy. A series of conscious initiatives taken by KSA. If we say it's a joint initiative by Ministry of Finance, say SAMA, and Capital Market Authority. So it's a joint effort wherein see what they are doing is to encourage and nurture formal household savings. It's not the normal household savings, they say formal household savings. You have to save it in a bank. That fosters, when this happens, high economic growth happens. If there is a high economic growth in your country, employment level will increase, human development will happen, and standard of living will also increase. So they say in investment, normally people tend to feel that investment and savings both are the same. So investment, they say investment improves productivity and thereby your economy becomes more competitive. And savings is a form by which capital gets appreciated. There is increase in capital and this will fuel economic development. Now, if we see why is it that KSA is focusing on the savings culture, it is a 2030 vision by UN which has come up with UN Sustainable Development Goals. They have 17 goals wherein we see two goals, SDG 8 and 9, they are focusing on this. Every country's financial system should be strong. There should be diversification in the financial institutions and savings should increase in the form of financial planning and financial information. The reason behind KSA study is this one. If we look at this, so they say 44% of working age population. That is the population who are working. It is from 16 years to 64 years. So if we look at the statistic, it shows that 44% of working age population are below 40 years. So what is the benefit? Shows there is high potential of achieving satisfactory savings ratio in the future. And it can be done only if people are educated on the importance of savings, not on a regular basis, right? It has to be savings on a regular basis. Not that you save in 1 month and for the next 3 or 4 months you're not saving. So this is the opportunity that has been foreseen. 44% below 40 years. So there is high potential to increase the savings ratio. Now, based on the study, what is the need to boost this purpose-driven strategy? So it says this is based on 2018 report, which shows that high imported inflation. You could see that in 2018 around the world, the inflation rate was very high. This was due to high import of goods. We are importing goods from different countries. So prices will naturally increase. Inflation is high. That's why if you look at countries are always focusing on go for indigenous production. Those things that you can manufacture in your country, let us go for that, such that we can reduce these cost, inflation rate. Second, see they say savings rate is very low. It is only 1.6%. So what statistics say that at global level, studies have shown that the global standard should be 10%. This 10% is the minimum level of household savings rate in order to ensure that the long-term financial independence of a country. If we want a country to be financially independent, the minimum household savings rate should be 10%. And we see that in KSA, it's only 1.6%. It's not only in KSA, majority of the developing countries, they are having a low savings rate. That's why Agenda 2030 and then UN Sustainable Development Goals were introduced, focusing on developing all countries on various aspects to see that there is no poverty, employment can be increased. So this one. So savings rate, this is 2018 data. For students, I always say, see, number is not important. What's more important is the analysis and interpretation of these numbers. Savings rate is lower, and global standard says that at least we should have 10% household savings rate. So that has to be achieved, and for that, country is taking a lot of measures. Second, we say borrowing rate is very high. So it's the borrowing from bank. So when you save your money in your house or you give it to your friend or relative, it's not being recorded. So when you open a bank account and you deposit money in a bank, means the country you have access to where your people are. What is their financial structure? What is their financial level? So here 2018 statistics shows higher borrowing rate. See, when we require money for meeting our financial requirements, financial obligation, the first option that we approach is bank. We get loan from bank, and then people approach friends, relatives, etc. So higher borrowing leads to high cost. So this is a need to boost this purpose-driven strategy. And studies have shown that only 44% of our Saudi adults are saving, and that too majority are men. Women percentage is less. And if we look at the savings, see what studies show, out of this 44, only 14% are savings in bank. They are saving their money in bank, formal saving. 30% of them prefer to go for informal financial community. My friend circle, similarly, we have informal groups also, informal chits organizations, which they prefer. So these are the areas where why we are not saving in bank. We'll come into that. Again, they show 28% do not have a bank account. 28% of our Saudi adults do not have a bank account. That also will come into why they are not having a bank account. They are not having a formal saving, and more than 80%, they are not having any investment plans. It's only because they are not aware of it. Like as we say, financial information, they don't have an idea what are the different options available. So these are the areas in which where students can act as a change agent. You get these information, you get into a collaboration. I'll be discussing that in my next slides. So these are the need to boost purpose-driven strategy. Now, reason for not having a bank account, why is it that our people are not going for not having any bank account? See, they say 66% of them say we have less money to save. Our income is this, our level of expenses this, we are having only less money to save because we are just hardly able to meet the expenses. In my family, one member is having a bank account, that's enough. Suppose in my family, my father is earning, so he has a bank account. For us also, when we joined here, see, we opened a bank account. I opened a bank account in Riyadh Bank. Why? Because my salary will be credited to a bank account. So we feel that we need to open a bank account only when I'm getting a salary. Once I become a salaried individual. So only one member needs to have a bank account. They say financial services are very expensive. We cannot think of those things. We have to go deal with this. These are very expensive, so we are avoiding them. 22% they say we do not have ID cards because in order to open a bank account, there are a set of formalities. So I say I do not have any ID card. See, and we say financial institutions are very far away from my home, so I cannot afford to open a bank account. See the simple things which I thought of sharing it with the students such that you get to know. Such that whenever you think these are the areas where you can act as contributors. Then savings mindset, as we say, it is a mindset of an individual, right? Unless and until we are asked to think about this, we will not. As we always say, we can take, like an example, we say we can take students near the water. We cannot make them drink. But but it's not. Things have changed. We can create an urge in them, a desire in them. We can create an urge of thirst in them, and they will feel like drinking water. So that is a savings mindset that we are talking about. So here we'll see what are those four things. Why savings is important. See, transaction benefits means if I have saved money, I'll be able to meet the transaction benefits. Transaction, what are they? Recurring household expenses. Here also for my students, if we say we have studied accounting, we have studied principles of finance, in those areas where we have touched on cost accounting, where we study there are different kinds of cost, different kinds of expenses, expenditure. So let's try to understand this by taking my house as an example. So I try to find out what are the recurring household expenses, which occurs every week, which occurs every month. Suppose my telephone charges for students every week, then rent allowances, rent, I have to pay rent, I have to pay electricity charges, I have to pay for water. So these are the recurring expense. So I'll be able to meet these recurring expense only if I am saving money. Second one is precautionary benefit. See, benefit means precautionary benefit of going for savings. You will be able to meet unforeseen expenses. You do not know what will happen. Suppose due to these situations now, as we see, some people lost their job. We see due to health issues. Some are the cases, as we always say, future is uncertain. We do not know what will happen in future. So we have to set aside an amount such that I'm able to meet my precautionary needs. So these two are the needs of the people. We say precautionary needs, we say transaction benefits. Similarly, we say retirement planning. For retirement also, we require money. And on the right hand side, what we see is how can it be achieved? By having an orientation towards finance, where we get to know what is this financial planning, what is financial information. We are not able to do all these things because I do not have access to financial information or financial planning. Next one is financial literacy. So financial literacy, if we look at World Bank survey, it shows that financial literacy of KSA is only 31%. Similarly in other countries, so they give more importance how to enhance financial literacy. So this is the main element of FSDP. We look into that financial sector development program, which is a joint initiative of Ministry of Finance, SAMA and CMA, in order to enhance our financial literacy from the low. Now it is 31%. From that we have to increase it. Next important element, which I have taken from Global Findex Database 2017, which shows that not only in one country, not only in Saudi Arabia, but all countries, developing countries, they all are facing such issues. It is common to majority of the countries. And on the right hand side, I've taken those which are relevant to case. Reason for unbanking. Why is it that people are not opening a bank account? See, they say, why unbanked persons? Because I am less educated. I'm a less educated person, so I feel that opening a bank account, going to bank and to speak to them, talk to them, it is difficult. So I hesitate and I do not come forward. This is because of that. I think to myself. So this is an area when I say I'm less educated. So these are the areas where I cannot go and make them educated. So what the other thing, what my students can do is how we can contribute. So we can come up with, there are methods by which it's called sustainable livelihood intervention. There are micro enterprises where we come up with an area of passion or hobby which can be converted into an income generating source. I'm good at stitching. That can be converted into a source of income. That's why we always say we all have hobbies. So how that hobby can be converted into an income generating source. So that's how we can help them, not by asking them to complete your studies. I've studied only till 10th standard. I cannot ask them to do that. The other thing is this people, because all of us, we are blessed with some or the other. So what can be done in these areas? Unbanked persons, we say majority are women, more women, they are not having a bank account. Earlier it was only because we did not get sufficient job, not employed, so I'm not opening a bank account. Then outside labor force, there are people who are outside the labor force, they do not have a job. That's why I'm not opening any bank account. Low income group. My income is very low. So I cannot think of opening a bank account and go for savings. People living in remote and rural areas. When we look at KSA, I've seen statistics, studies have shown that now people in remote and rural areas, they are having a bank account, they're opening bank account, which shows the contribution of financial institutions. Financial institutions, they are moving to rural areas, educating people on them, on the importance of having a bank account. As we can say, even students can open a bank account, zero balance. So earlier people used to say, I do not have thing. So what can be done? Then drivers of household savings rate. So what drives savings rate? It's the level of income and wealth. Income, I know my source of income from my salary and other source. So wealth are the assets that I buy out of this income. So I want to be a wealthy person. So for that, what I do is my income, I have to transform it into assets. If I say I want to invest in land, gold, want to buy houses, so those become your wealth. Second one, which we discussed earlier, demographic factors. If a country has more of working age population, then you have more propensity to save rather than an aging population, because studies show that after 2050 people will be above 64 years of age after 60, wherein we are approaching towards retirement. Then we have health related issues, so for all those things we have to spend money, and after 64 years of age we won't be having a regular income in the form of salary, we would have retired. This one, a household savings pattern. Next one I'll show you, as I said, General Authority of Statistics. They come up with a report after every 5 years. So this 2007 to 2018, see what it shows. Shows disproportional increase in consumption and income in the past 10 years. So this is a diagram. See, this shows when compared to 2007, you can see the increase. The salary has increased only by 5.3 percentage from 2007 to 2018. But when we look at the expenses, it has increased by 38.6 percentage, 6 times. That's why they say disproportional increase in expense when compared to my income. So what can be done in this? That is what is important. We'll be dealing with that. This is just for an idea. Here we see the purple color, it shows savings. We had savings in 2007, but it has completely decreased. 2013 and 2018, it is minimal. This also the same thing I had shown like this, that is average monthly income has increased by only 5.3%, and in the research report they show that even the salary varies across administrative regions, like eastern province, the salary level is very high when compared to Tabuk area. And this most common, which we always say, across gender, male are getting more salary than female. Then the household consumption has increased by 38%. Savings has decreased over a period of 10 years. So this is the average household savings rate. The left side talks about savings, and this is the percentage of savings, which is standing as 1.6% as on 2018. And this General Authority of Statistics, they have started working on the next 5 years. So 2019, they have started collecting data from the respondents on these three aspects, which I have given on the top. What is your income, savings, and expenses? You have a list of that. So based on the collected data, they do analysis and come up with a report. Now this one, when we look, what are the factors impacting household savings? A very interesting one. So we say that people, their inclination towards spending is more than savings, because we have to spend a lot. When we see items, our inclination is towards spending rather than savings. So this was the idea which I came across when I attended a webinar wherein an expert in the area of finance, he said, we all talk about spending problem. We say spending is very high, that's why I'm not able to save. This is my income, this is my spending, so how will I save if spending is high? So it's not the spending problem which is important, but it's the income problem. You know what is the income problem? If I look at my house, I see that two people are earning an income. So only one source of income, it is my salary from my organization where I'm working. So we should start searching for multiple sources of income. So that is, they say, 2 by 3rd of our adult population, we lack basic financial knowledge. We do not know how to proceed. So when we say spending is not a problem, income is your problem. You know how income is a problem, we should go for multiple sources of income. I'll give you an example. Suppose I think of buying a car. Now, if I'm using this car for my personal purpose, if I'm using it for my personal purpose, it's an expense. You know, these assets keep depreciating. But what if this asset I'm transforming, I'm changing it into a taxi? So you can see that I'll be able to generate, I'll be getting cash inflows. So we should be investing in such assets which will work for you, which will generate income for you. Long back when I was a student, we used to read the book Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So this book, it gives an idea about which are the assets that we should invest in. When I say car is an asset, okay, it's a depreciating asset, but it can be transformed into an asset called taxi, which will generate income for you on a monthly basis. Second is I buy land, then I construct a building. Now I'm not using it for my own purpose, but I'm renting it. So when I rent it, what happens here on a monthly basis, you are getting a cash inflow. You are already employed, you are a faculty, you are a staff of an university, you are a staff of a company. The other thing is, see, you have invested in assets which will be earning income for you. So those are the ways wherein we go for the concept of multiple source of income rather than only saying reduce the expense, reduce the spending. Because it's high time we think about this, going for multiple sources of income. So inability to meet financial obligation. This also was a concept which people say. We used to say cash is a king. So if I get 50,000 real today, I'm happy. Cash, I have cash in hand. So cash is a king. So that is a wrong concept. So what is more important is cash flow is a king. It says that rather than getting 50,000 real today, I prefer to get 2,000 real on a monthly basis. Because on a monthly basis, you are getting a regular income. So that is known as financial independence. Need not look at that. I know it will come to me. Cash is a king means all of a sudden you have got 50,000 real today, so you will spend it. Rather than cash is a king, now the concept of cash flow is a king. And second one, low level of financial literacy. Because household savings rate is only 1.6%. Why these things happen? It's because we are unaware of basic concepts of financial planning, inability to meet our financial obligations. I'm not able to meet my monthly financial obligations. So I resort to take the help of bank loan. I approach my friend for an amount. So expenses exceeding income. And the last one, as we say, age distribution. These are just things have been put forward such that we get to know, okay, our inclination is less towards savings. Financial literacy is an area of concern. Age distribution. So this was a diagram which I just took because we always say, right, diagram speaks volume than when we write sentences. So here this shows that when we see, I can see even here in our college also we can see students at the age of 20 when they join the graduation yes, they start doing small part-time jobs. So you're earning. There are some students whom I have seen. So at the age of it shows slowly income increases. When you start generating income slowly, your propensity to save also it slowly increases. By the time you reach 40, then you start thinking about retirement. That's why the savings is higher at this level. Now, next one is an important element which I was talking about. As we say, driving force. When we say purpose driven strategy. So, purpose driven strategy behind, be it Ministry of Finance, SAMA, or CMA, is to bring about a savings culture. Similarly, I thought, what about our initiation, what we are taking a role in it. So this is a concept which I am putting forward. This is an idea which I got from our dean. So he always talks about social innovation, social impact, outcome analysis. So this is a concept wherein the role of an educational system in addressing social issues through research and knowledge creation. Now, when we look at the savings system, savings is not happening. We all talk about different culture of people. We talk about different segments of society, high income level to low income level. So what role an educational institution or a university can play in addressing this social issue? My country is also facing this social issue. We are not able to increase savings of our people. We are not able to increase. So what can be done? So these are the four things. See, if you look at the diagram also, what it shows, we have studied a lot. So let's transform, what is the intake out of the knowledge that we have inculcated, the knowledge or the learning that we have inculcated from our schools and colleges. Let's transform it into something. See, focus on research that delivers impact. So when we look at the term impact, what it shows is there is a stage, it is called logic model, which talks about input, process, output. So we have studied in MIS the three, which talks about input, process, and output. So if I'm applying to a student's level, so input is the lecture sections given by teacher, the case studies, we give assignments, we give tests. So these are the different inputs given. So what is the process? After learning this, I am transforming it. I am undergoing a test wherein I am assessing a midterm exam. I submitted an assignment. I'm working on it. I'm working on the case study. I'm putting in the learning that I have imbibed from the class, the external knowledge which I get from websites. So all those things accumulated, I'm coming up with. That is the output. So output is the scores that a student is getting, right? From assignment, be it a case study, be it a test, quizzes, different. So those are input, process, output. Normally we used to stop at that level. There are two other things which follow the logic model, and that is outcome and impact. Outcome, we say it's a short term. We are measuring what is the short term impact of what you have learned in your school or college. I did an assignment, I did case studies, I attended the class lectures of the faculty. So what is the outcome? If we say outcome is after internship or co-op training, I got a job. So that is the outcome. Most important one is impact. Impact is, it's not for a short period of time, it's for a longer period of time. So the education, the learning that I have imbibed from my college, university, from my school, how long will it remain with you? So that is the positive impact it will create. That should remain with you. Now, my students, as you are attending the sessions today, right, it should not leave you after the 2 hour session, like by 5 o'clock, it should not leave you. Think about the outcome and the impact it has. Now you all are prospective employees. You have to join companies. How will I apply these learning in my company? So before that, you can think of, why not practice the same in my house? That is the best place where you can apply all these things. We'll come into that. So this is my job, like not only my, it should be the job, it should be the role of every educational institution. You need to empower your students to be social innovators. If today I'm saying, like SAMA, CMA, and our Ministry of Finance, they are coming up with lots of initiatives. During the last 3 months also, they came up with such savings campaign. So why not we be part of those savings campaign? You learn a lot of things in the class, invest in yourself, and come forward and say, we will pass this to the younger generation. Why not go to schools and deliver small sessions such that those students are able to understand? They are school level students. So make your presentation simple for them to understand. See, from school level, if you understand the importance of savings, what are things that is happening around. You will get to know better. Similarly, as I said, our education is not worthy if you don't use it for the needy. As we said, there are people around who are less educated, who are not willing to come forward, they are hesitating. So why not take it as an opportunity, feel happy that you are given an opportunity, come forward and help them up. Take small sessions, a workshop for them. So rather than a faculty taking a session, people will be more interested when they see or understand that students of a college or a university are taking this lead to come forward, not for money. As we say, social innovation, it's not for money that you're doing. You want that something that you have gained, your education, it should come out. It should be useful for the needy. Needy are those people in the rural area, people who have low income group, people who are not educated that high level. So you can take such sessions for them in Arabic. They'll be more than happy to listen it from the younger generation, the millennials. Then the community engagement. That's what I said. We are doing some kind of engagement for our society. When we look at society also, there are different levels, high level to low level. Deliver social impact in the long run. Wherever we see, we can see this is what Dr. Gada Adeen, she always says, social impact. It's an important, it's a, what we say, an expanding area. It's an item which is all over Asia. It is something new. People are going for that. We can see, even if we try to attend webinars, all those are available. We can see they talk about outcome management, outcome assessment. They talk about social impact, which is very, very relevant for the world. All developing countries, they're focusing on this, how to give import. That's why we talk about ESG. Everywhere we see environmental, social and governance is also given more importance to. If we look at companies, I want to buy a share of a company, I want to invest in companies, so I'll be interested in looking out of the companies, which all companies have an ESG metrics, what is their ranking in ESG metrics, environmental, social, and then governance. Now even the millennials, they don't look for profit making company. I'm not interested in which company is giving me more salary. They are more interested in finding out which company is into ESG, which company is giving importance to corporate social responsibility. So this is the idea. This is the learning or the intake from this particular slide, the role of educational institutions. See, the role of millennials. You only can be the change agents rather than the older generation. The role of millennials in enhancing the financial potential of households. It is you who can pass this in a simple way to the next older generation and also to the other younger generation who are yet to understand what is the savings, what does these things mean. So enhancing financial awareness among all segments of society. We can see people below poverty line, people in rural areas. So it's our responsibility to approach or to get an outreach to all segments of society to enhance this. Just imagine if financial awareness increases, the financial culture of your country reaches to what level. So here this slide shows, are my students willing to? So based on the number of students who have attending the session today, if at least few of them come forward, we are interested in moving for that, it will be a great initiative. I would love you to get back to Professor Hadil if you are really interested, because our partnership unit, CBA partnership department, will be looking for this kind of initiatives where see the millennials. You, the millennials, you are ready to be the change agent. You are going to be financially empowered. See, when KSA, if you look at KSA, it has been focusing on women empowerment, girl empowerment, student empowerment. Give them something in return by showing them that you are financially empowered. No one can make you financially empowered, only you yourself. So millennials, are we ready for this change, for making a change or giving a change, being a change agent to the society? So that's why I say social identity as change maker. So next one, when we talk about the contribution of our government, it is in the form of these three are the main resources behind this: Ministry of Finance, should be knowing what is SAMA, Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, and Capital Market Authority. It's a joint initiative by all the three who are focusing on how to increase financial intermediation, how to increase this savings awareness or financial product awareness. They are into this. So if are we really willing to go for this, be the change agents, just think to yourself and go for this, take the lead to approach the society for the betterment. Now see this one. The academic growth of millennials will help transform their mathematical abilities to comprehend in household financial planning. So we say everywhere women are given importance. Now we can see women are occupying all good positions, top positions. So let this initiative also come from the women's side, especially our students. Now we are learning, we are graduates. See the academic growth, what all things we are learning. So in those process, we would have achieved some kind of mathematical ability, be it in accounting, we say principles of finance, operation management, operation research, statistics. In all these things, we do some kind of mathematics. So these things should help us to comprehend household financial planning. As I said, we study things in the class. We think about doing case studies, assignments. Why not apply it from my home itself? Let me try all these things that I've studied. Can I apply it at my home? If I'm able to apply it at my home, it means it will naturally give you the confidence to apply it in a company where you're going to work in future. So companies will also get good talented and experienced candidates who know well about what is the difference. They are able to bridge the gap between theory and practice. So let's move on to that. Very important, as I show, learning, educating households on the importance of, it's not just savings, but savings on a regular basis. See what they say. Understanding of financial skill and knowledge to make informed household financial decisions. We talk about different skills, soft skill, hard skill. Let's learn and understand what are these financial skills. And my students will be able to do it better because you are doing lots of problems in the class, be it principles of finance, accounting, operations, and so the financial skills that is required, I'll show you to make, see what they say, household financial decisions. As a student in my first level, second level, I know when we talk about financial manager, the decisions of a financial manager are investment decision, dividend decision, and financing decision. So you talk about lot many decisions, marketing decisions, HR related decisions, everywhere, right? You're talking about decisions. Why not apply it at my home? Let me try to work out if I'm able to make some financial decisions of my own. That will give you confidence. See, I've underlined something, informed household financial decision. It shows that I'm not making a decision just out of void or the space, but I'll take a decision after investing in myself. I'll go through various notes, I'll go through websites, I will improve, I will enhance my learning skills, my understanding on finance, financial management, and then I'll take the best decision. That's why they said informed financial decision at household. Play the role in establishing household savings goal. You know who will play the role? My students who are listening to this presentation. Role in establishing household savings goal. We all have career goal. By now, my students know you already have established good career goals for yourself. As we always say, where do you see yourself 1 month from now, 6 months from now, 1 year, 5 years? Similarly, we will go for a savings goal. Why do you want to save? What are my savings for? What do I want? So you're creating a savings goal for your family. Next, third one, see ability to manage recurring and non-recurring financial obligations. You're sitting with your parents, you're sitting with your mother and you want to find out what are the expenses that occur on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and you're writing it down. Once you have written all the expense, then I want to find, you are segregating, you are dividing it into recurring expense, which happen regularly, non-recurring expense, which happens only once in a month, more than like when we pay educational, like when you join a semester, you are paying a fees. So those are not does not happen on a regular basis, but you want to buy an asset, it's a non-recurring item. You're paying for household renovation, you want to renovate your house. So these are not recurring, does not happen regularly, but on an, it's not a daily basis. So you're writing down these expense, you're writing the financial obligation, and you're then finding out which are the expenses which we have to meet on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually. So this you are doing, no one told you. You have studied cost accounting in the class. In cost accounting, we talk about different types of expenses. We say controllable cost, uncontrollable cost. We have studied about fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost, many. So these things we are going to apply it. We just felt like writing it down in a paper to find out. And this is the most important one, wherein I usually have discussion with industry experts. And then when I take a session for my students, it becomes easy for them to grasp and understand. Rather than normally taking many theories, you won't feel it. So this is an item which is very important. I've spoken to industry experts where they say that a loss-making company can be converted into a profit-making company if this principle is applied. And it is not just theory, or no one is just saying it. I've seen that happening in companies. You know what it is? The need for daily monitoring of your daily recording the expenses, what on a daily basis today, how much money I have spent on what all things. Spending your credit card transactions, am I doing it on a daily basis? It should not be that by the end of a month I'm making a payment. Normally what happens is, suppose my salary, I receive my salary in the beginning of a month, 10,000 real. By the end of the month, I see I have only 1,000 real left. So I sit at that particular point to write down the expenses that I have, the amount, the money that I have paid for what all things. So when by the end of a month, when you sit to write the expenses, we will not get hold of all the expenses. We tend to forget some of the expenses. We cannot remember. We are human minds. A human mind cannot remember all the expenses. By the end of a month, by the end of the month, I'm finding out my income was 10,000 real. Now it's only, I have 1,000 real left. So where did this 9,000 go? If I sit to write at that particular time, I will not be able to get the correct figure. That's why what people say is you have to do it on a daily basis. Even in corporates, companies, suppose you are a staff of a company, you know what company do is, what they do is on a daily basis, the general manager finance, general manager human resource, all the general managers from different departments, they meet on a daily basis and they have to present what has been done on the previous day. That's how control is being taken. That's how you do cost control and cost reduction. If this happens, if this, we think these are small items which we neglect, but if we take those things into consideration, if we give them importance, we can see miracles will happen. This has happened, it's a real examples which has happened with 2 or 3 companies where they were talking about this. And we can, if you look at, if you focus on the financial decisions of companies, the meetings that they hold, if it is related to monitoring their expenses, monitoring their financial performance on a daily basis, it will bring very good result. Now this also we have studied, we study that companies prepare financial statements. We say that companies prepare financial statements by the end of a year. It was earlier, long before, this was the trend, where companies prepare the annual report by the end of a year for auditing purpose. But now when you look at, we have technology plays an important role. So it's not on a yearly basis. Companies do prepare it on a semi-annual basis. Companies do prepare it on a quarterly basis. Companies do prepare it on a monthly basis, weekly, and even daily. Just think about daily, you're preparing your profit or loss account, financial statements. You'll get to know the correct figure. The expense is high in which area, how to control it. So this is what we say a mantra of finance which has to be done. Daily recording, daily track record of expenses on a daily basis. It's very, very, very relevant. So these are the items for savings to happen on a regular basis. These things should be there and it should come from my students. Students will take part in this. They will act as effective contributors towards their household decisions. Just think about you will be able to do. You will understand what are the financial skills. You will understand how to make informed financial decisions. You will understand what a savings goal because you're preparing career goals. You are being trained on that. So you're helping your family come up with a savings goal for it. How to meet financial obligations. So you know what are the recurring and non-recurring obligations. You are keeping track of expenses on a daily basis. If you are able to maintain a small book wherein you are doing this, you feel happy to know that yes, I am now able to prepare a financial statement. Earlier, I've done only in my college, where you during my subject like principles of finance, wherein you're given a question and you have to prepare starting from journalizing. You are journalizing, then we do ledger, preparing ledger, trial balance, profit or loss account, balance sheet. And as we all, right, we all have a little aversion towards when we see numbers. So those things will go when you do it at your own level. Because when you do it at home, even if you make small mistakes, you're not going to lose your number or it's not going to affect any performance. So you will be doing in the best perfect manner. So we are done. Next one is, she talks about financial skills. So this is very important. I learned something in the class that is not enough. You need to invest more in yourself. Read more books. Try to understand things. You're searching for more information. Everything is available in the internet. When you have a doubt, you need not step back. Everything is available. So this is how you invest in yourself, and you have to come up with the best version of yourself. It's not like I studied this in the class, I do not know these things. I always tell students, after completing a graduation, when I get a job, right, you might be given new tasks. So it should not be like I have never done this before, I've not studied in the class. This should not come from our side. What we have to do is, everything is available, technology is available, you're searching Google, you're investing in yourself, you're learning to do things by yourself, and you produce the best output. So that has to be done. So household expense, what they say now, we have to understand the nature of expenses. You're understanding what are recurring, non-recurring, what are controllable, uncontrollable. You have an idea. You feel happy and confident that yes, at least I'm able to recollect, at least I'm able to differentiate between these two expenses. Second, which students should be doing is analyze the main expenditure groups. See what are they? Staples. These are regularly needed. We cannot compromise. Housing, some we pay house rent. We have to pay for gas, electricity, water, food. Education cannot be compromised. Health is never compromised. Discretionary items. So it talks about something which we can forego. We can set it aside. If not this month, we can transfer it for a future period of time. Home furnishing, personal goods and services. We talk about telecom, like we have to pay, we have to buy this every time. So what has to be done? How often do you recharge your mobile? Right? Is it on a monthly basis? That's good. It shows you have a track record. Or is it on a weekly basis? So you should know on a monthly basis, how much am I spending on telecommunication? The amount you spend on restaurants, hotels, fabric, apparel, footwear, the list continues, entertainment, etc. So these are the things you get an idea, like staple, discretionary, and then you think about, can I control something? Which are controllable and which are not controllable? So when we talk about housing, we have to pay regularly. Electricity, you can control. If you are able to consume less, then you are able to control those expenses. So staples and discretionary. These are just words, as we say, right? From every slide, what all things I'm able to get. I understand something called controllable and uncontrollable expense. Then I understood something like staples and discretionary items. This is how I can increase my savings. Expense I have to control such that savings can be enhanced. And as I said before, it's not like expense is a problem. No, what is the problem is income. So I have to find out ways of multiplying my sources of income. We've seen different professors. There are different sources by which we can increase your sources. People say if you are investing in a business, because technology, virtual reality, people say royalty from books is an income. You are investing in dividend yield stocks, it's an asset. Similarly, the new era students, digital assets, internet digital assets, where there are blogs you can invest, so it's you are receiving an income. Blogs, forum, website, mobile app. So these are the sources. These are normal sources. Similarly, you can also concentrate on your hobbies, the hobbies which can be converted into I paint well, I draw well. How can that be converted? I stitch well. How can that be converted into an income generating source? So that's more important. So from now we can remove this point by saying that expense is an issue. There are some cases where we cannot control it, like imported, we are going for imported items. So how can I reduce the expense? Unless and until my country is coming up with indigenous items. That's how the concept of entrepreneurship came up. See, entrepreneurship, that is, any person who is less educated can also be an entrepreneur on his or her ways. If we focus on your area of interest, that is giving a few people join together and we come up with such business. That's why entrepreneurship, micro enterprise, these are targeted at the low income level, the rural people, below poverty line, people belonging to BPL level, bottom of the pyramid, and also the less educated level. So this one, when we talk about this, we need to have an idea about financial information, financial planning. So they say, set your financial goals and achieve them through savings and investment. Set your financial goals. Like if my son is 10 years old now, by the time he achieve the age of 18, he should be able, like he's self-sufficient, he's financially set for his higher education. We need not take a loan from bank and fulfill his requirements. We should be able to do otherwise. Set your financial goals. I want to, like, I have a daughter, what about her marriage? So those things, you are setting aside money, setting your financial goals. I want to buy a new house. So what has to be done on these areas? So you set your financial goals and see to it that you are able to achieve them through savings and investment. Ability to achieve what you aspire for, right? You will be able to achieve these things without resorting to borrowing or depriving themselves, right? You need not resort to borrowing. Without that itself, you will be able to achieve your financial goals. You will be able to control over your financial decisions, like buying a house when it should be, marriage when it should be, beforehand, like what is the time duration before that, how it has to be done. For higher education needs, for my planning for my retirement, it should not be like I only care for my students. I have to think about myself also. What about my retirement? I need not depend on anyone during that particular time. So that happens only when I'm financially secured. Now, financial information is this. I, as an individual, I understand, I have a knowledge about what are the different awareness programs or what are the products available in the market. What are the programs organized by government and financial institutions? Can see everywhere the contribution of Ministry of Finance, SAMA and CMA. Next time you should find out what is the SAMA. You should not say I do not know what is SAMA. Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, Capital Market Authority. So what are they doing? They are coming up with various awareness programs which is being organized. Similarly, I should know what are the products which I can make use of. If I want to buy a house, if I want to make arrangements for the marriage of my daughter or son, then higher education, retirement. So what are the different plans and products available, financial products? If I'm able to do this, if I am well confident about the financial information available in the market, I have access to. As I said, I'm less educated, so I do not know, I'm not able to understand. It is where students play an important role. They are conducting a workshop for the needy people. So that's how you're making use of your education. You're seeing to it that it's being available to at least some, the needy people. And this last one is very important. See what it says. Understand the value of time interval between cash inflow and cash outflow to meet the transaction demands. Now, this is not happening in our households. My income is 10,000, but I am not having a track product like when all I have to pay for the expenses. What are the different expenses? It will come at recurring time. After 1 week, I have to make payment for this. After 1 month, I have to make payment for this. That's what they say. There is a time interval between cash inflow. It is a salary that you receive and the expenses that you have to pay. As we always say now, my salary is 10,000. My expense has reached 15,000. See, it has exceeded. Now I'll be able to pay the other 5,000. There are two options. Either I will have to wait for my next salary, or I'll be taking it from my friend, relative, or a bank loan. So that is important. We have to understand the value of this time interval. There is a time interval between you're receiving your salary, receiving your income, and the various financial obligations, cash flow to meet transaction demand. So if this gap, as we say, gap between cash inflow and cash outflow can only be met out of savings. Savings as such is not balanced. Savings is complete only when we convert it into, transformed into investments. And that too not normal investment. You have to invest in income producing assets, which will generate income for you. As I said, you had a building, you're not using it for your own purpose. You have given it on a rented basis. So apart from your salary on a monthly basis, you're receiving this rent. Think about other sources which will, as we say, people who have written books, so the royalty that they give, royalty income from the books published, from the books that they have written. Similarly, blog, forum, your websites, mobile apps that you have created, when people are using it, what is the income? So this is the most important one. Now, coming to the last one, where I have taken the financial. Here in 2017, this is also important, Council of Economic and Development Affairs, SEDA, they launched Vision 2030 with 10 delivery programs. SEDA, in the year 2017, in KSA, they came up with 10 delivery programs, in which this delivery program is very important. This is FSDP, Financial Sector Development Program, Financial Sector Development Program, which is one of these 10 programs. So what this focus on, how to develop my economy financially, how to create various diversified financial services sector. Now you have to promote, how can it be promoted? How to promote financial planning and how to stimulate savings, how to increase country's household savings from 2.4%, which was in 2013, to 7.5% 2020. And even beyond that, because as I said, 10% is the minimum level in order to be globally accepted as a financially independent country in terms of household savings. And last, as we say, you have to enhance the financial literacy of your people in your country. From 31%, it should increase. And strengthen savings ecosystem. Savings as such is of no use. Say it should be a formal saving and it should be in a bank. Savings has to be converted into investments. So what are the different investment avenues which is applicable for short-term investment, medium-term or long-term investment? So that is Financial Sector Development Program. This is their logo, which is a joint initiative. Not one person is doing. See, 3 organizations who are involved in it. That's why I always say it should come to your mind. Next time someone asks you, what is FSDP? You should be knowing. It's Financial Sector Development Program. It's a joint initiative of 3 organizations, 3 reputed, or see their contribution: Ministry of Finance, Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, and Capital Market Authority. So while preparing this particular slides, I had an interaction with FSDP executive, Ms. Lama Al-Wahabi. So she had helped me with these things. So these I'm attaching. Students can go through it to get more idea about the various initiatives, various programs that they are engaged in, various activities. As it's limited only a 2-hour session wherein I need to stop before that. So I thought as first session, it's just an introduction to savings and investment. So I'm not going in depth, but I want my students to go through this to understand what is the contribution of FSDP. How can me as a student, can we do some kind of co-op training, or can we do some kind of, you can join partnership with our CBA partnership department, any type of interaction wherein everything is being done by the students. So this was their slogan. They said this a 3-month program which they launched in March 2020. So under the slogan, a little now is a lot later. So SAMA saving campaign, which ran for over 3 months, starting from March. So what they were focusing on, see, this one, access to savings products and channels. So you're getting an understanding of what are the different products that SAMA came up with. Earlier it was 4, now they have increased the savings product to 9. All these are available in the link. So these 9 savings products, there are 9 companies, fintech companies have been given that responsibility of coming up with their savings product. So access to savings products and the channels in the market. How can I approach them? If I want to save in this particular instrument, how can it be done? Who are the channels? Which are the companies whom I can approach for getting more information on this savings product? Then they provided information, SAMA, through their campaign. They provided information on available savings product for low income group, a very great initiative, because when we talk about savings product, suppose it's starting with high amount, you have to save 500 real on a monthly basis. It cannot be done by all people. So you should not be excluding the low income group or the rural poor or the people belonging to lower income group. So for them also, SAMA's initiative, they have come up with savings products such that, as I said, it caters to all segment of society, not only higher level, but also you are reaching the low segments of society. Then how to stimulate, as I said, stimulating demand for savings scheme. It has to be done. It has to come from within. When we understand the savings motive, when we understand the savings culture, when we understand why savings is important, why are we saying it should come from your home, household savings, how it results in national savings, how national savings is related to the economic development of a country, in what ways it's going to help me, my house, right? As I said, I am meeting my savings goal. I'm meeting my informed decisions, business decisions, informed financial decisions. Everything is possible only when I go for savings. It should not be normal saving. It has to be a formal saving, and that too on a regular basis. Next one is, there's something called National Savings Entity, government savings product. Normally we have more liking towards government products rather than private. So there's a national savings entity which says that when you open a bank account, automatically your bank account will be linked to national savings entity, and then you can invest. Then the last two is home ownership savings scheme. I want to buy a house after a period of time. So what is the savings scheme? How much do I need to save on a regular basis? You are opening an account. You're going for the savings scheme. Home ownership savings scheme. See, you can own your own house without resorting to external funds, without taking loan from a bank. Next one, see educational savings scheme. We hear a lot about educational loans. I've seen many of my friends, students who take loan, educational loan, and then over a period of time, 5 year, 10 year, you have to pay it back. As I said, you have taken a loan worth rupees 50,000 Saudi Riyal. When you pay after 3 years, it will amount to more than 70,000 or 80,000 Riyal. So this I'm not understanding. This I will not understand because I just need to meet my financial obligation. That I'm not thinking about. So these are the areas wherein Sama's initiative, I'm coming up with a savings campaign under the slogans. It's very important. If you check internet also, you will get through. A little now is a lot later. Very valuable information and very valuable contribution by Sama. This is a recent one. Wow, now we are coming to the last slide. As I say before, beyond the activity, I have come up with this webinar. So what is the learning outcome, right, for my students? So we have understood what is the savings culture. We got an idea. What is the savings culture? What are household savings? What are the factors affecting household savings? Why? What is the reason behind low savings rate? What is the reason behind, like, the bank account is also why people are not having bank account, unbanking? What is the reason behind that? Why people are not saving? There, the role of millennials. So this will help my students to have an idea on the sources of funds. So if I am a household, if I'm thinking every learning begins in my house itself, I'm finding out what are the sources of funds, from where am I getting cash. One is salary, right? Income from my salary. And what are the other sources? Most important, income generating assets. You should invest in those assets which will generate an income for you. We have heard of different types of assets: depreciating assets, capital gain assets, and third one is income generating assets. So you get an idea about this. Not one source of income, you should go for multiple sources of income. Next one, application of funds. Why I took it this way is for students at your level, you'll be able to understand, because this is what we study: sources and application of funds, a fund flow statement. We study these in colleges. Why not try to visualize this at my house? So application of funds, see what are they? Where am I going to apply them? So that will help me in understanding what are my short-term financial decisions, I know, for a short period of time, and what are my long-term financial decisions. So savings in the right way. Savings as such, it is not enough. So you're investing money. You get to know from where am I receiving cash inflow in the form of income from salary, and what are the others. This is the area where I have to convert my hobby into. We all say we have hobbies, right? So try to have interest in those aspects which can be converted into an income generating source. Application of funds, where am I going to apply it? What are my financial goals, objectives? So it should be for short period of time. What are those goals? Long period of time. What are those goals? And last one, for my students, see, providing low cost solution. As I said, right, it should always come to my mind when I say your education is not worthy if you don't use it for the needy. So what we have to come is, as Sama has come up with, low cost solution for the society who are below poverty line, rural areas. They do not have even sufficient income, less educated. So providing them also with the saving solutions. What are the products, savings product that they can buy? So this is very important. Here also your contribution can be, can I do some kind of research and help community? And can I provide some kind of solutions to SAMA, CMA, or Ministry of Finance, saying that based on the research that we students conducted, we find that the society, taking into consideration their socio-economic and demographic factors, it's very, very important. Taking into consideration these two factors, this kind of products will be useful to the society. Second, C, be a part of a financial education program. SAMA is conducting lot many educational programs, awareness programs. So can we students be part of it? That's how you're contributing. That's how you're going to be a change agent. That's how you're going to invest in yourself and bring out the best in yourself. That's how you're going to create a social impact, right? We say we cannot do work in isolation. We have studied in companies, when someone is doing something for us, what we do in return for them. Social return on investment. So be a part of financial education program that encourages in developing essential financial management skills in the community. These are the normal finance which we study in colleges. Just you need to present it in a simpler way to the people, for the people to understand the same. Third one, see, properly managing finances and choosing appropriate saving and investment opportunities available in the market. You are showing them, you are helping the other generation, the people who are planning to go for a saving, the Saudi adults. You are going to show them these are the savings product and investment opportunities available. If you want to save it for a short period of time, these are the investment options. If you want to save it for a longer period of time, if your investment can be for 5 year, 10 year, then these are the products. So this is the learning outcome of the class. Coming to my last one, as we always say, right? Do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. And here also focusing on not just the expenses, but on explore on the different income generating sources, income producing assets. Here I complete my presentation. Thank you all for listening.